having to go outside.
You mean like bringing the sunshine in?
Exactly. And what better way to do that than with skylights? I feel like they're like everywhere these days, especially in Melbourne.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big trend.
But are they just a trend, or is there something more to these like overhead sunshine portals? That's what we're diving into today, skylights in
It
Melbourne.
sounds bright.
Get it? Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, moving on. So to help us shed some light on this topic, we're focusing on a Melbourne roofing company called Heasley and Son Roofing. They specialize in Velux skylights.
And they've got a really informative website.
Seriously, it's like a skylight Bible.
Mm.
So when you were browsing through it, what jumped out at you?
Well, they do a great job of highlighting all those practical benefits. Natural light, ventilation, saving on energy costs. But what I found really interesting was how they connected those benefits to Melbourne specifically.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What makes Melbourne so unique in the skylight game?
Well, for one, Melbourne's weather is all over the place. You've got scorching summers, then bam, chilly winters.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly. And skylights, particularly the ones with ventilation options, can actually help regulate the temperature inside your home naturally.
So you're saying instead of blasting the AC or shivering under a mountain of blankets, I can harness the power of the sky?
Pretty much. Plus, you've got the Melbourne real estate market to consider.
Oh, right. Houses here are like gold dust.
They really are. And studies have shown that homes with well-placed skylights can actually see an increase in value.
See, I knew those things were magic. But seriously, that makes a lot of sense. It's not just a pretty feature, it's a smart investment. Although when I picture skylights, I'll be honest, my first thought isn't investment. It's more like, ooh, shiny.
Right. There's definitely that wow factor.
Totally. But I was surprised to see just how many types of skylights are out there. Heasley and Son offer fixed, vented. They even have something called tubular skylights.
Those are pretty cool. They're great for areas where a traditional skylight might not work so well.
Like where, give me an example.
Hallways, for instance. Often you don't have direct roof access, but a tubular skylight can bring natural light in.
So it's like having sunshine beam down from your ceiling, even if you're nowhere near a window.
You got it.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm hooked. But like with all these options, how do you even begin to choose the right skylight?
That's a great question, and it all starts with understanding the different types.
Okay, let's break it down.
So first up, you have your classic fixed skylight.
The OG of skylights.
You could say that.
So fixed skylights, they're like the no frills option, right? Just pure, unadulterated sunshine.
Yeah, kind of like the classic skylight. They're the most popular for a reason, you know?
Because they're simple.
Well, that and they're all about maximizing that natural light. Like, if you don't really need extra ventilation in a space.
Makes sense. So hallways, stairwells, maybe even a living room that's already got good airflow.
Exactly. You've got it.
Okay, but what about when you do need that extra ventilation? Like, say, in a stuffy Melbourne summer. That's where those vented skylights come in, right?
100%. They're a game changer, especially here. It's like having natural AC.
Sign me up. But hold on a sec. Melbourne weather, it can get a little intense sometimes.
Hey, tell me about it.
I mean, we're talking scorching sun, torrential downpours, the occasional hailstorm. Are these skylights, like, built tough enough to handle all that?
That's a good question, a really important one, actually. And Heasley and Son, they address that head-on their website. These Velux skylights, they're designed with Melbourne weather in mind.
Okay, so what makes these skylights so super?
Well, for one, they use this advanced glazing technology. It's basically a fancy way of saying they've got these special coatings on the glass.
Correct.
Yeah, so in the summer, it reflects the heat away, keeps your house nice and cool. And then in the winter, it acts as insulation, so it helps keep the heat in. Pretty neat, huh?
It's like a skylight that doubles as climate control. I like it. But what about those hailstorms we were talking about?
Oh yeah, they've got you covered. These skylights, they're put through some serious testing. High winds, heavy rain, even hail. Velux, the company that makes them, they've actually got this whole testing center.
No way.
Yeah, they simulate like crazy weather conditions.
So these things are tough. You don't want your skylight caving in during the next big storm.
Exactly. And speaking of things you don't want to mess up, installation.
Oh, right. Because a leaky skylight is like the opposite of what you want.
The ultimate buzzkill. And
Yep.
that's where finding a reputable company with a solid track record is key.
Yeah, you don't want some random handyman up on your roof.
Definitely not. And what I like about Heasley and Son is they've got this really clear 5-step installation process. They lay it all out on their website.
Okay, so talk me through it. What makes their process so special?
Well, they start with a really thorough consultation. They actually come to your home, check out your roof, get a sense of what you're looking for.
So they don't just rock up with a ladder and a hammer. They take the time to understand your needs.
Exactly. It's all about that personalized approach. And they pay attention to all the details,
Yeah.
like how your house is positioned to the sun, any potential shade issues,
Smart.
right? They really think of everything. Then they put together a custom design plan, like a roadmap for your skylights.
To make sure you're getting the most out of your skylight.
Exactly. And this is where their knowledge of Melbourne's building codes and all the different roof types is crucial.
Because a skylight in like a Victorian terrace is going to be different from one in a modern apartment, right?
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the actual installation.
Yeah.
Heasley and Son, they pride themselves on using these advanced techniques. They try to keep the disruption to your home to a minimum.
Because nobody wants their house turned upside down for weeks on end.
Exactly. They want the process to be as smooth and painless as possible. And then, even after they're done, they do a full quality check.
Just to be extra sure.
Exactly. Make
Yeah.
sure everything's sealed up tight, everything's working perfectly.
Attention to detail. I like it.
Right. And finally, they don't leave until they've cleaned up after themselves, and they give you a full rundown of your new skylights, answer any questions you might have.
Wow, they really go the extra mile. No wonder they've got so many glowing reviews. Speaking of which, what are people actually saying about Heasley and Son?
Get ready for some serious praise. They've got over 50 reviews on their website.
50. 50 reviews. That's like unheard of, especially for tradies. People usually only leave reviews if they're either over the moon or they want to warn the world.
It's true, reviews are powerful.
Yeah.
And in this case, yeah, it seems like everyone's just like head over heels for Heasley and Son. People are praising their professionalism, how much they pay attention to the little things.
But, okay, let's get specific. What are these happy customers actually saying?
So there's this one review. It's from this couple, Christina and Stan. They were really impressed with how much Heasley and Son kept them in the loop,
Kept them in the loop, like how?
like explaining every single step. And get this, they even used photos and videos to like document the work,
No way.
Yeah.
Photos and videos of my roof.
apparently.
Okay, that's next level. It's one thing to say you're all about the details, but actually showing the client that's impressive.
Right. And it's not just about the documentation either. There's another review, this guy Julian. He mentioned that Heasley and Son, they actually redid his whole roof.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and apparently it was a pretty tricky job. Unusual roof structure, old timbers, you name it. But he was so impressed with how efficient they were and the quality of the work.
So they're not just skylight gurus, they're like total roof whisperers.
Okay, this is making me think, you know, it's one thing to talk about all the practical stuff, but what about the stuff you can't really put into words?
The feel-good factor. Exactly. We talked about energy efficiency, boosting your home's value, but natural light, it's more than that, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are studies that show exposure to natural light, it can actually make you happier. It can help you sleep better.
Right. And it's not just about homes either. Heasley and Son, they mentioned on their website that they actually work on commercial properties as well.
Now that you mention it, I do remember that.
Imagine having one of those skylights in your office.
It would make those long days so much more bearable.
Right. So there you have it, folks. That's our deep dive into the world of skylights. We covered everything from the nitty-gritty to the surprising perks.
And hopefully by now you're just as obsessed with skylights as we are.
Seriously, who knew a little bit of sunshine could be so life-changing?